Hello, everybody. My name is Ivana Borroto, and I am in your class EAB4795 Senior Seminar in Applied Behavior Analysis. And this is my presentation on my self-management procedure that we have been working on throughout the semester. I would like to begin by saying everything in this PowerPoint is written in third person so that it is easier for you guys to understand and so that it feels more like a case study than my senior project. So my problem behavior is Ivana does not exercise in the gym as frequently as needed. Besides what I am going to later discuss on why I chose this problem behavior, I also chose this problem behavior because I believe this is something that a lot of us can relate to. And I hoped that making this self-management procedure, if it works, would be able to be replicated by future students or whomever else that could really help make a difference in their lives as well. Social significance. Ivana suffers from PCOS. For those of you who do not know what PCOS is polycystic ovary syndrome. Polycystic ovary syndrome, according to Google, is defined by having large cysts in the ovaries. However, this definition isn't really true anymore because having large cysts in the ovaries is not needed to be diagnosed with PCOS anymore. A constant exercise routine is one of the most beneficial notions to alleviate PCOS symptoms. Some symptoms of PCOS include missed, irregular, or light periods, ovaries with cysts, excessive body hair in the chest, stomach, and back areas, weight gain, especially around the abdomen, acne and oily skin, male pattern baldness or thinning hair, infertility, small pieces of excess skin on the neck. This is considered skin tags, and dark or thick skin patches on the back of the neck, in the armpits, and under the breast. The symptoms that come with my PCOS include hormonal imbalances, excessive body hair, and before going on medication for my PCOS, I had very irregular periods. By irregular, I mean they would not come for 8 months at a time sometimes. With this in mind, relieving PCOS symptoms will make Ivana's social interactions less stressful. As I said before, one of the symptoms that I have been suffering from in PCOS is hormonal imbalances. Hormonal imbalances lead stressful situations to be extremely difficult for me. I suffer from anxiety, from stress, and this does come from my PCOS as well. So any way to make these social interactions less stressful for me is really a benefit in my life. Ethical considerations that I have in mind before I conducted this procedure was honesty. So really, I think honesty with this procedure was the most important because it is really easy to lie to yourself and lie to the class about whether I did or did not go to the gym that day. And obviously, lying about going to the gym that day just to get this project done wasn't going to be helpful for my lifestyle. So I really needed to be honest to myself and to you guys. Another ethical consideration that has to do with honesty is ensuring that the frequency recordings are accurate. So in order to make my frequency recordings as accurate as possible, I put in place that I would only record frequency of going to the gym if I exercised in one exercise machine. You guys might think this is a little weird because why else would you go to the gym if you're not exercising? However, sometimes I do go to the gym to just use the amenities that they have, like the tanning bed and the massage beds, because sometimes I just want to go to the gym and relax and I don't really want to exercise. However, whenever this was done, I did not record frequency as part of a gym visit. I also took measures to guard against this by ensuring each time I went to the gym, I went straight to the treadmill. The treadmill was my best friend during all of this. I went straight to the treadmill and did my cardio before working on any other machines. Continuing on, ethical considerations that happened during the procedure, I wrote key equals consistency because once again, it leads back to honesty. During the procedure, there were times that I honestly just decided, no, I do not want to do this anymore. And I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to reinforce myself. I don't want to do anything. I just wanted to get this project done. However, I decided to take this project as an opportunity to actually help myself. So being key and consistent with my procedure was really hard. However, I'm proud to say that I did do it. So for the literature review that we had completed earlier in the semester, I used 3 separate articles. The first article I want to talk to you guys about is an article written by Kademi et al. Called The Effect of Exercise in PCOS Women Who Exercise Regular. This article consisted of a procedure that was done. It was not a self-management procedure. However, it was a procedure done across 49 women with PCOS, and it recorded the effects of a routine exercise regimen in their lives. Recordings that were done in this experiment included blood pressure recordings, BMIs, health-related stuff that I do want to benefit from in this procedure that I'm doing as well. And I just wanted to see if results were shown before. With this in mind, results were shown in this procedure across more than half of these women. However, results were not as intense as these women had hoped for because PCOS is a very rigid condition that can lead exercise and can lead interventions that you are doing for yourself to not be as effective as it would for people who do not have PCOS. However, instead of taking this as a disadvantage, I took this as an opportunity to understand and to honestly prepare myself for results that I might have not wanted to see later on. However, any result is a result, right? For the second article I used, it was by Wheeler et al. Called The Effect of Morning Exercise with or Without Breaks in Prolonged Sitting on Blood Pressure in Older and Overweight Obese Adults. So I picked this article because I knew that the time of day that I wanted to exercise in was the morning. I chose the morning because I am the person that I have busy work schedules. I have a busy school schedule. I like to get my responsibilities done in the morning so that later I can relax. And exercising in the morning was beneficial for my already busy schedule. And exercising in the morning was probably just going to wake me up, which I honestly really, really need. But before truly deciding on whether to exercise in the morning, I wanted to look up an article that would help me see the effect of exercising in the morning on blood pressure, because although I did not mention before, blood pressure is a big symptom of mine for my PCOS, and it's probably one of the most urgent conditions that I need to act upon. The results of the procedure done in this article were beneficial. Systolic blood pressure among most of the adults did lower, and it just helped me decide that morning exercise was the right choice for me. For the last article that I read was Kwambe Lily's Relationships Between Self-Management Training, Psychosocial Factors, and Uptake of Exercise. This, once again, was another group procedure, not a single case study, but I chose this article to use in my literature review because I wanted to understand if a self-management procedure was even the best way to go about exercising more in general, because it's really easy to stop yourself from exercising, to tell yourself that you don't have to exercise, instead of a personal trainer or someone that you're paying or whoever it is that's going to tell you that you need to do this and this and this. This was an experiment that I need to do for myself. and that I was going to tell myself to do. No one else was going to help me. The results in this experiment, honestly, were extremely helpful, and they truly made me feel confident in my self-management procedure, because the group that did the best in this experiment was those whose motivating operations included health conditions as myself, which showed me that the motivating operation of my PCOS was probably going to be big enough to keep my exercise routine in check. Although none of these articles were a single case self-management procedure, which was impossible to find, I believe that these articles are beneficial to this procedure because it honestly helped me feel confident in what I was about to conduct on myself, which I think everyone needs to feel confident in their work before they actually put it out there. For my functional behavior assessment, my problem behavior, as mentioned, is Ivana does not exercise in the gym as frequently as needed. My operational definition is any instance that Ivana enters the gym and exercises in any exercise machine, weight, or cardio for any duration. The function of behavior that I pinpointed was avoidance. I decided on avoidance through some indirect assessments and a self-report. Being a self-management procedure, I did self-report on my own behavior. I also surveyed and interviewed my mom and had her answer a few questions on my behavior and what she sees me do. I did not mention this prior, but my mom was the only individual who knew about this experiment because I wanted this procedure to be motivating for me. I did not want to feel like I had something to lose by not actually doing the right thing if other people knew, because obviously they would ask for me. So I kept it to myself and my mom, and it was really beneficial. And for my hypothesis, I wrote, if an SD is delivered in the morning to wake Ivana up, then the frequency of gym visits in 1 week will increase. So later on in the PowerPoint, I will discuss the potential SDs and some that I had to change. Background for my functional behavior assessment included PCOS, as discussed before, and also adrenal PCOS. So before I discuss to you guys about the whole scope of PCOS, however, there are 4 types of PCOS, and the PCOS that I suffer from is adrenal PCOS. So adrenal PCOS is not necessarily cysts in the ovaries, and it does not come with a lot of PCOS symptoms. However, adrenal PCOS is when your adrenal gland produces too much of the precursor for the male hormone testosterone. And when there's a lot of precursor for testosterone in your body, as I said before, that leads to a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress. And a lot of this stops me from going to the gym because a big thing that I use to solve my stress is sitting in bed and watching TV and just vegging out. However, this was not going to help in the long run in my life. The summary statement that I have collected from my functional behavior assessment was, when Ivana has experienced stressful emotions during the day, she will not go exercise at the gym, which is maintained through avoidance. Now I will discuss what was in my treatment package for my self-management procedure. So antecedent manipulation. An SD of 2 alarm clocks will be delivered by phone to Ivana at 7:30 a.m. and 8 a.m. to go to the gym. Previously, before choosing the 2 alarm clocks, I had chosen my mother to administer the SD of waking me up. However, my mother kept forgetting to wake me up. So I had to add the alarm clocks in order to wake up early to be able to go to the gym early. My dependent variable was the frequency of gym visits. Reinforcement procedures. Each day that Ivana goes to the gym and exercises, Ivana will be allowed to watch TV for longer than 1 hour at night. Previously, my reinforcement procedure included giving myself dessert on days that I did go to the gym. However, this became extremely negative for myself extremely fast because withholding that dessert from the days that I did not go to the gym just led myself to crave it and crave it more, where I just had to go to eat it. So I decided to do TV for longer because on days that I did not go to the gym, I was only allowed to watch TV for one night, and I was basically forcing myself to do activities that did not include sitting sedentary. So doing these other activities helped me keep busy and essentially keep active on those days that I did not actually exercise in the gym. An alternative behavior that I had placed was exercising in home using TV exercise videos for any duration. However, every day that I did go to the gym in this experiment, it was actually going to the gym. I did not use the alternative behavior at all. Reduction procedures. Every day that a gym visit is not completed, Ivana will have to make up gym visit on the weekend. If 3 visits are missed in 1 week, Ivana will have to go 3 times on the weekend, which is Saturday or Sunday. And the weekend gym visits are not reinforcing for Ivana. So let me explain. I chose to do this as my reduction procedure because I'm sure we all can relate to wanting the weekend to be for fun and to be relaxation and to be able to do all the things that we were not able to do during the school and work week. So exercising is not a priority for me on the weekend, and it really isn't reinforcing for me to go exercise in the weekend because it just takes away from the time that I want to use to relax. So using this reduction procedure really helped me stay within the gym visits that I wanted to complete in the week. IOA and treatment integrity. Treatment integrity will be collected through self-report. Self-management procedures require honesty in oneself. As I said before, honesty was very crucial in the self-management procedure, and I'm sure it was very, very important in the rest of your self-management procedure. And since I was the only one technically collecting the data and doing the actual procedure, it was up to me to keep the integrity of the treatment alive, which required extreme honesty. IOA will be collected by having mother measure accuracy of frequency counts. Videos will be sent of exercise to mother each gym visit. Yes, I sent my mom a quick 5-second video of me on the treadmill every day that I went to the gym, which I usually do because it just, I don't know, makes me happy. But this did really help me ensure that the frequency that I was counting was accurate and that I was not lying to myself or to you guys. So what you are seeing on the screen now is the data sheets for my baseline phase and my treatment phase. I would like to describe the data sheets to you guys. So I have 2 questions that I made myself answer every day. Did you go to the gym this day? And did you exercise on any cardio or weight machine this day? So as I said before, I had to ensure that my frequency counts only represented the days that I actually exercise on an exercise machine in the day in the gym and not just use an amenity. So I included both these questions so that I can know what days I went to the gym and what days I went to the gym for exercise. I completed this self-management procedure in 2 weeks. The first week was my baseline week. So the usual, what I usually do in a week, and then my treatment phase was me implementing the procedures that I had created and the reinforcements and the reductions. So that is why I have both data sheets on the graph right now. Now, taking these data sheets and putting it into graph form, this is my A-B design graph. So as you see, I have my baseline data graphed and I have my treatment data graphed. My vertical axis represents frequency. My horizontal axis represents the date of that gym visit or not gym visit. In this graph, it only goes up to 1 because each day that I did go to the gym, I only went once. If I had missed 3 days of the gym in 1 week, I would have had to go up to 2 because I would have had to make myself redo those missed gym visits on the weekend, as I mentioned before. However, I did not do that to myself. So that is why we are only going up to 1 on our graph. In this final slide, I will be discussing all the findings that I got from this procedure and from my graph. So once again, the dimension that I used was frequency. I am sure that a lot of you are wondering why I use frequency instead of duration. I use frequency because per my baseline phase, I was not actually going to the gym very often in 1 week. So I needed to increase the amount of times I actually went to the gym in 1 week first before increasing the length of time that I stayed in the gym each visit. So for the next procedure, duration will possibly be used. The trend that I saw in my graph was an increasing trend, which was not hard to decide because there was only 2 counts, 0 or 1, and the baseline phase had 0s and treatment phase had 1s. So it was an increasing trend because my frequency counts did increase significantly. Although my frequency counts did increase, I still have to say that this graph does show a high variability because I did do a line of best fit and most of the data points in my graph were outliers. I believe that this procedure had a high variability because of the honesty aspect required to myself. And it's really easy to turn your back on yourself and decide to not do something anymore. So with that in mind, a high variability was concluded. For the efficacy of this procedure, yes, it did work for me. As I can see from my data sheets and my graph, the frequency counts from 1 week to the other was an extreme increase. So yes, this treatment did work for me. The next procedure, as I said, when talking about dimension, hopefully the dimension will be duration. However, I do not think that 2 weeks alone is enough to truly understand whether this procedure will work, because of course we have to have long-term effects and this was extremely short-term. So I think for my future, I am going to continue with this frequency self-management procedure at least for a month or 2, and then slowly change my procedures and ensure that duration will be the focus of my next experiment.